Well, here we are. Financial year 2023 has officially begun. And with that, average daily subsidy closed out June at just shy of 194. And the industry received an indexation on subsidies of 1.7%, which lifted the July 1 ADS figure to 197.13. Now, the added indexation was an appreciated funding boost. However, it was outpaced by the CPI increase of 2.1% that we experienced over the last quarter. Now, average daily subsidy swelled 9.3% over the past 36 months, which is slightly ahead of the 8.3% increase to CPI over that same period. Now, total claiming activity came back slightly over the June period. However, more impressively, funding managers across the sector continued to push up voluntary claiming as the sector continues to submit around 3.5% of their total residents as voluntary submissions across June. This is even as many providers balance the management of two concurrent funding models, one for their payments under ACFI and one for their internal stakeholders for ANAC planning. Now, I'm sure many revenue teams will be welcoming the arrival of ANAC in October. Now, as the percentage of claims greater than 12 months increased slightly, this indicated that most of the voluntary uplifts came from residents that were within 12 months of their last Medicare claim and lodged under the ACFI business rule of a major change ACFI or MCA. Now, as we are in or within the final 6 months of ANAC, this strategy for reappraisals is a good outcome as the required reassessments 6 months later will not be required due to ANAC coming in on October 1st. Now, to achieve those major change voluntary ACFI submissions, it appears that the 4B and Procedure 5 pressure area care are continued claims being utilized in the final run of the ACFI. The sector is now claiming just shy of 58% of claims having a 4B associated with it, and just above 44% of those claims have a Procedure 5 pressure area claim associated with them as well. Now, despite a big month for respite, total occupancy falls again across June. The sector used 219,000 respite bed days across June, which is the highest total for a single calendar month since August of 2021. Because respite typically represents 3 to 4% of total occupied bed days, this jump was not enough to buoy total occupancy, which fell to below 87%. Now, this occupancy has also been magnified by some services voluntarily taking available beds offline due to workforce shortages experienced across their services. With the reduction in admissions, we did see a flattening of the new versus discharge ACFI rates, with all three industry segments aligning to the circa $20 a day variance. With the permanent admissions dropping across June, we saw the sector achieve nearly 21% of their admission entries from their local hospitals. And with that, the typical admission over June reflected an 87-year-old consumer with an average acuity of 186/37. As we now enter our first quarter of the improved financial and prudential compliance reporting, providers will need to submit their first QFR or quarterly financial report by November 4th. In June, we saw a marked improvement of the reported care minutes. This was evidenced by a significant gain across all measures of residents worked on a per bed per day basis. Direct care minute allocations jumped just over 23.5% to 151 minutes worked on a resident per day basis calc, and RNs also boosted a nearly 22% jump over June to 23.5 minutes worked on a resident per day basis. Allied health time increased slightly, however, it paled in comparison to the achieved gains across all other role types. And as the sector continues to work through their definition of direct care roles, as well as the allocation of time from their hybrid roles, we'll trend the outcomes as we approach October 1st introduction of the anticipated 200 care minute averages.